What's up, Star Wars fans? I want to talk about Episode 6 of the Book of Boba Fett, and what an amazing episode it was. Dave Filoni has outdone himself once again. This episode gets started with none other than Cobb Vanth making his return to the Book of Boba Fett. He confronts a small group of Pike Syndicate warriors, telling them they're not going to be running spice through his territory as long as he's around. And it certainly was great to see Cobb Vanth back in action. I certainly like his cowboy look a lot better now that he doesn't have Boba Fett's armor on. I always thought he looked kind of goofy with the armor. But that said, we get way more than just Cobb Vanth in this episode. Next up, we see the Mandalorian making his way to see little Grogu. And I gotta say, I really wish Jon Favreau had given some sort of hint as to exactly how the Mandalorian found Luke Skywalker. In my estimation, that's just something that he shouldn't be able to do. But hey, the Mandalorian does find Luke Skywalker in the planet he's on, and he finds the Jedi Master is constructing some sort of Jedi school, or at least he has a whole host of droids that are doing that for him. From here, we cut to none other than Luke Skywalker himself training little Grogu, and it's absolutely fantastic to see the little guy again, but what's even more fantastic is seeing Luke Skywalker on the screen again. Whatever technology they use this time around is working much better, and the character looks much more polished than he did at the end of The Mandalorian Season 2. But as any good teacher does, Luke Skywalker is not just training little Grogu, he's getting to know him, and in doing so, he helps him delve back into the past, at which time we get one of my favorite scenes in this episode, which is a look at Order 66 from the eyes of little Grogu. The scene looks absolutely fantastic, and what comes after it is even better, because obviously for little Grogu, this is a moment of fear looking back on his past, and Luke Skywalker reassures him by saying yes, the galaxy is a dangerous place, but he will teach him how to defend himself. And I think this is a very small but important moment, because it shows us that Luke Skywalker is his own Jedi. He doesn't just simply repeat some lines from Yoda about how fear leads to anger and hate. But moving on here, at this point we've seen Cobb Vanth, little Grogu, Luke Skywalker, the Mandalorian, and now we get to see Ahsoka Tano. This is just an absolutely insane episode. I never would have thought that Ahsoka Tano would show up on the same planet as Luke Skywalker and little Grogu. But hey, here she is, and she's got an important message for the Mandalorian, and that is that he has to let little Grogu move on with his life, and he himself has to let go of Grogu. And rather surprisingly for me, in an emotional scene, he does just that, and leaves behind the little Beskar armor for Grogu with Ahsoka Tano. From here we get a great sequence with Luke Skywalker training little Grogu, very reminiscent of Yoda training Luke Skywalker on Dagobah, as well as some callbacks to Obi-Wan Kenobi training Luke Skywalker in A New Hope. And from here we transition back to the Mandalorian. He's headed to Tatooine, and just like I predicted a few episodes ago, once the Mandalorian gets to Tatooine, one of the first things he does is look up Cobb Vanth, asking for Cobb Vanth's help as well as his community to help Boba Fett defeat the Pike Syndicate. And although Cobb Vanth is pretty resistant to this idea, he does eventually decide to help the Mandalorian. And just as the Mandalorian is leaving town, Cobb Vanth sees a lone mysterious figure approaching the town, and it turns out that lone mysterious figure is the notorious bounty hunter Cad Bane. And so yes, we see yet another animation character making the leap to live action, and I gotta say that Dave Filoni absolutely nails it in this episode. Cad Bane looks fantastic in live action. But that all said, Cad Bane of course is there representing the Pikes, telling Cobb Vanth and his people that they need to stand down and not join Boba Fett. And when Cobb Vanth's deputy makes a move on Cad Bane, Bane shows us exactly why he's one of the most notorious bounty hunters in the galaxy, shooting down the deputy and the marshal in short order. From here we get a quick scene in which the Pike Syndicate bombs the local cantina, once again progressing us to that final fight in episode 7, and from there we get a very interesting scene in which baby Grogu is asked by Luke Skywalker to choose between a lightsaber, in fact Yoda's little lightsaber, or the present from the Mandalorian, the Beskar armor. And certainly I can't wait to hear your predictions as to what you think little Grogu is going to choose. But hey Star Wars fans, overall this episode was fantastic. Dave Filoni delivers once again. It's so amazing that he got to work with Luke Skywalker in live action. That said, that's all the time I have for my review today. As always, I'm Mike, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.